want your feet to be about shoulder width apart. And we're gonna go for a body weight squat, slow and controlled. So feel free wherever your hands are comfortable. We're gonna get rolling. And I want you to think chest out, shoulders down, pelvic floor, deep core engaged. So think about pulling that belly button to that low back. And we're gonna squat down. When doing squats, I want you to think of all four corners on that foot, on each feet, rooted into the ground for a nice balance and state of equilibrium. And as far as knee placement, we're just getting this movement in. We're not really gonna focus on that quite yet. We don't wanna be pouring forward, but we also, don't wanna be back here either. So I would say between that heel and toe area is where your knees are gonna fall. We want that back to be nice and straight, so no rounding and no arching. Those are awkward. So think pelvic floor, deep core engaged. And we're gonna go slow and controlled. So as you work on your squats, this month we're doing them at this pace. Thinking about that posterior chain, that back side of the leg engaging, firing on up, especially as we stand. If you want to slow it down more, you're going to do it at the return, the press on up. Really dig those feet into the ground, wake up all those muscles, and we're coming on up. A way to intensify your squat is in between each rep, instead of coming up for that full return, I want you to hold on to that tension in those legs. So for example, we're coming down. We're not going to come all the way up. We're going to come up right here, keeping those hamstrings engaged, and then go right back down. So this should up that intensity. Exercise number 2 is going to be the reverse lunge. So when we're stepping back into our reverse lunge, I want you to think railroad, not tightrope. So let's keep that stance nice and wide for balance purpose as well. That front foot is going to be your working foot, all four corners of the foot into the ground, right, rooted. And we're going to step it back into that reverse lunge. So right now we're worrying about the width, and then we're going to worry about part number 2, which is going to be our upper body during this. Now what I want you to practice for our reverse lunges is that forward hinge, as you see. So we have that pelvic engagement, deep core engagement. We're stepping back and wide, and I'm pouring myself forward. That's really going to engage the glute rather than the quad, that back side, which is where we want to go with these lunges. That back knee is going right down towards the ground. Back is nice and straight, core engaged. Okay, so we're actually going to slow these down a little bit here when you go in for your lunges this week. We're going to go nice and slow, not too slow because that's actually too hard right now. And we're going to bring in assistance as well, which I'll show you in a second. So stepping back into the lunge, stepping on up, waking up again that posterior side. Perfect pace like that. Gaze is down, gaze is up. Beautiful. So for both of these exercises we're focusing on this week, that's the squat and the reverse lunge. Feel free to add assistance. Okay, so for the squat, it actually would probably be in front here. So we're going to come down and up. This is a great way to go deeper into your squat. Feel free to go lower than parallel, right thigh parallel to the ground. Get a little lower and come on up, keeping that deep core, pelvic floor engaged. So that's going to be our squat with assistance. And then we're going to go right into our reverse lunge. For that one, we're going to move our assistance over to the side. I'm going to put it on this side. And I'm going to step back with that inside foot into that reverse lunge and come on up. A good way to further your intensity here, and also for better form and engagement, I want this moving leg to be light. So think heavy in the front. When you're stepping back, the majority of the weight is going to stay in that front foot. That's gonna stop you from catapulting, right? Catapulting, whatever word that is, pressing back up, right, with that back leg. That's gonna stress out the knee and the ankle, believe it or not, by putting more weight on that other leg. So we're going to keep it nice and light and wide with that front load in that leg, and here we go. So those 2 exercises is going to be our main focus for this week, and as we move for the month, because as we move through the month, I'm going to intensify it as fit for you on your journey. Alrighty, so let me know any questions. I would like to see both of those exercises sent back to me. Feel free to FaceTime me as well, just so I can see that squat and that reverse lunge. Right now for our reverse lunges, as you can see, I'm staying on one side. I may have you alternate, meaning just switching when you come up, just to get that correct movement flow pattern before we start bringing on any weights or bands or anything else to further intensify these exercises. So let me know any questions, and I can't wait to see your form checks.